Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another video here on Investing Bros. Bitcoin, in case you have not looked at a price chart this morning, is moving once again. We just set a new high for 2023, pushing very close to $39,000. But in this video, we're going to be talking about why. Why is Bitcoin moving once again? We did predict this here a couple of days ago. We did make this prediction, but we're also going to talk about what that next height could be. How high could we actually get on this next push? Where potentially should you be looking maybe in a trade to be taking some profits, possibly even taking some profits for a big dip coming in later. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. So go ahead and strap on in. Let's start off with the reasons why Bitcoin could be moving. A very good article was written this morning by Jake Simmons. Bitcoin breaks above 38,000. These are the reasons. Let's go through them. A couple of them we've actually talked about here on the channel. But number one, anticipation of spot Bitcoin ETF approval. Shocker, shocker. Guys, that's the reason why Bitcoin has been moving now for the last month and some change, ever since mid-October. Eventually, this magic fairy dust will run out. But for right now, this is a continual bullish pressure. The problem is, and we've talked about this too, is the fact that we keep moving to the upside based off of the anticipation of the ETF continues to lead me to believe, and I'm interested what you guys think, but this leads me to believe that this is still a buy the rumor, sell the news event. What do I mean by that? If we are moving super bullishly in anticipation of the ETF, when we've seen these things in the past, more often than not, when the news actually hits, when we finally do get the approval, when Gary Gensler says those words we would love for him to say, and that is, all right, guys, we're going to allow this Bitcoin ETF approved. That could be when we see the dip. So that's something that's bullish right now, but keep in mind the number one reason is still anticipation of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Number two, a little bit of a shocker, but we saw the news here yesterday. MicroStrategy will buy more Bitcoin. Now, it's kind of funny that they're saying this is a reason to go to the upside. I actually agree. I think that was a very bullish story we read yesterday about him buying 16,000 more Bitcoin and planning to buy even more. He's raising money to buy more in the future, of course. Even though he's no longer the CEO, Michael Saylor still makes a lot of shots over there for MicroStrategy. They bought Bitcoin recently, and they're planning on buying more. Some people in the past have said that's more of a bearish signal because they tend to buy the tops. Well, when you look at it historically, they don't buy the bottoms or the tops. He just buys. He buys if the price is high. He buys if the price is low. But this is coming out more bullish because it came to light that his average buying at this point now is about $30,000. So he is in profit, looking like an investing king. And I don't think that's going to stop. I think that Michael Saylor is in this for the long haul. He does not care if the price shoots up to 50,000 tomorrow or shoots down to 20,000. He's going to keep buying because when he thinks about the next 10, 15, 20 years of what Bitcoin could look like, he's bullish, and he knows that these are the prices you want to be buying at. So that's the reason number two, Bitcoin is rallying this morning. Let's keep on scrolling, see what else there is. Market dynamics. Now, we've talked about this a little bit here on the channel, but what this really boils down to, market dynamics, is this line right here, open interest and delta. Ultimately, right now, guys, there's a lot of people. We're trading at an all-time high of open interest in Bitcoin right now. That means a lot of people are entering futures predictions. They're longing, they're shorting. We're trying to predict what the future of Bitcoin looks like. And ultimately, when you're looking at the charts, we're going to look at the charts here in just a couple of minutes, and you're looking at these higher highs and higher lows that Bitcoin keeps setting. If you're hitting new all-time highs with open interest and the price is continuing to set in that bullish trend, that's very bullish for price. So this is absolutely true. The market dynamics continue to lean in the favor of the bulls here for Bitcoin. And let's keep on moving. Let's see what else the other reasons are that Jake Simmons writes about. This one, number four, a breakout move on lower time frames. We're going to look at that here in just a second on the charts for ourselves. But in this part of the article, this is the fourth and final reason. He quotes a very good analyst, Scott Melker. Would love to have Scott Melker come on the channel at some point. I used to live in the same city as him, never got to meet him, but I know he knows who I am. I know who he is. Would love to collab with you, Scott, if you see this video. But Scott made a great tweet, a great observation. He posted this yesterday that we broke out. This is a smaller time frame, but we had been setting, he calls this a channel, and you can call it a channel. I would call this a falling wedge. Falling wedges are where, yes, both support and resistance are moving to the downside, but they're constricting. And this is a pattern that more often than not ends up breaking to the upside. Sure enough, it did. And so when Scott put this out, we'd only kind of gotten close to 38,000. And that is bullish. It's bullish to break this descending level of resistance. It's bullish to break out of a falling wedge, but it gets a little more explosive. And why I think that this article is a great article, kind of wrapping up some real reasons why we're moving to the upside. I've got a couple more, and for that, we've got to go over to the charts. So go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe if you guys are enjoying the video so far. If you love getting daily crypto content, both news and technical analysis to help you invest wisely, you have found the right channel here at Investing Bros. Let's take a look at the charts this morning. Let's talk about a couple things we've already discussed. First of all, that bull trend. Again, open interest sitting at an all-time high. We're continuing to set these higher highs and higher lows. That is a bull trend. And until we see this canceled out, until we come down and start setting some new lower lows and then go back up and set a new lower high, you got to keep the momentum on the side of the bulls. Now, we've had a small pullback this morning. Let's take a look at some levels here. We rallied all the way up, got above 38,800. Not quite to 38.9, at least here on Coinbase. Let's see if I were to go over here. This kind of tells you the market as a whole. The high we got to on average was about 38,800 for Bitcoin. So very, very good. But it's bullish for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a new high. Again, so that's continuing the bull trend of higher highs. But also there had been a little bit of a trend here with three different touches back here on November 9th. Right here, we had technically a wick slightly above, but it's not that big of a deal. Right there close to it. We did this on November 24th. And then, of course, on November 29th here, just a little bit ago, we hit that same trend line with these highs. Well, what we did this morning during the Asian trading market, which, again, they have been extremely bullish here recently. So when you're sleeping here in the United States, if you live in the United States, there's usually some fireworks going on. We not only set a new higher high, but we broke that trend. Now, I want to see some candles close above it here on the 4-hour chart. As you can see, after touching 38.8, we're back down to 38.5, but that was a resistance level, not only from this rising level of resistance, but it's also something we talked about here with liquidations. Hey, guys, watch out here. We gotta zoom. We gotta refresh this page. Let's go out to 3 daily even. Yeah, okay. Well, that's going to tell me what I need right there. Boom. So you guys, we talked about this yesterday, and I told you, hey, if we can get to 38.5 and move above it, this was a massive, it says $327 million of liquidation. There were a lot of shorts piled up there. I told you guys yesterday, if we broke through this level, it could get very exciting. Well, we did that. We broke through, and now what we're kind of looking at way up here, 39,000, we again have another 316 million. A move up there is the next level to hit to continue this party to the upside. Now, I have to go ahead and mention here, there's a couple things to keep your eyes on. Right here, about 261 million is sitting down at 38.2. Would not be, not that I'm going to necessarily predict moving down that far, but that's not that far away from where we currently are. It would not be the worst thing in the world. It wouldn't kill this momentum to come back down and touch those levels. I do think, again, not that this would kill all of the bullish momentum, but if we start to come down towards these yellow lines where there's some more liquidations for some longs, down towards 37.2, that now we're talking about, all right, that this move to the upside is a little, this recent trend is over. We got to kind of regroup and continue to work to see 40,000. But if we can hold and stay above, even if we come all the way down to 38.2, bounce at 38.2, based off these liquidations and make a move up here and get above 39,000, the fireworks can continue. So it's, again, not just this level of resistance. I want to see us continue to hold as support rather than resistance, but a continual surge to the upside. Keep your eyes as we keep moving up here on the golden pocket levels. Lower level, I told you guys the other day, 39,100. Upper level would be 41,000. That would be bullish for a plethora of reasons, but one of them is in this trend, which we have had some wicks go above, but we cannot hold. We have a rising level of resistance in a rising channel that if we break above that, it could get very, very nice, and maybe we see a repeat of 2019, where we revisit the Platinum Pocket. What is the Platinum Pocket? Well, in Fibonacci, that is this level between 0.786 and 0.887 when you go from a high down to a low. We did this back in 2019 in July. We potentially could see it happen again, and that price would be sitting right there at about $50,000. Another thing, I want you guys let me know in the comments. Again, there's been a lot of things continue to change. Do you guys think it's possible that Bitcoin makes that move? Well, let's kind of focus on the more short term before we get too far ahead of ourselves, and let's take a look at a reason why I am leaning towards a bigger push. I'm leaning towards a move into the golden pocket. Let's take a look at the 4-hour oscillators here. Now, there's something that is different. On every single one of these pushes, when we've hit this blue line, look at every single one of them. Boom, overbought. We have we come over here, we have bearish divergence, even that we got overbought there, but boom, touch again, overbought, red reversal. We come above, set a new high, overbought, red reversal. Come up here again, bearish divergence. We come over here again, get high into this level, overbought, red reversal. Now, the last couple, we've had bearish divergences with red reversal triangles here on the Chart Prime Oscillator, the best oscillator out there. Make sure if you want to get it, there's a link in the description down below. Go check it out. But notice as we're setting this new high, the RSI is canceling out bearish divergence. Yes, why is that? Because to get the bearish divergence, the price is already higher than previous price action. You would have needed the RSI and oscillators to be lower. We've canceled that out. We're not getting our red reversal. We have no overbought flashing here. This seems like a fresh new move to the upside. Another reason I'm very bullish, and you guys know I've been tracking this on the daily chart. When we pull up the Bollinger Bands, a breakout indicator. We talked about the constriction we had here just a couple of days ago. Well, while we've retraced back down into it, we wicked out above it this morning. And if we can continue to push to the upside, and we're starting to spread it out, this is a volatility tracker. As we start to spread it out, it is very common. A lot of people like to use those bands almost like reversals. That's not how it works. When you constrict like this and then you break above it, look what happens. It is a breakout predictor where you actually end up living right at or above that blue line. I think there's a chance we're repeating that history once again. The breakout is coming to the upside. The fresh money is flowing in, and Bitcoin continues up there. When we look at the daily oscillators, same thing. We've ignored pretty much every single overbought signal, peak seekers, red reversals, bearish divergences. We regrouped back down to the midline of our oscillators, which is a strong level of support. And now, even though we're setting new highs, look at how low our oscillators are. We're not overextended. We're not high on either the RSI or the Chart Prime Oscillator. This is primed for a big reloading effect where we move to the upside. So for all those reasons, I'm still sitting here very, very bullish. But the question becomes now, where are the targets? What are we looking at? With the fact that the 4-hour chart, let's go back to the 4-hour chart. With the fact that the 4-hour chart is sitting here and the RSI is high, I'm not going to lie to you, it's still over 70. It's pushing towards 80. With the fact that the new Chart Prime Oscillator, it's getting higher here. And when we pull up our Market Oracle Pro, we do have a reversal band here. I think the next realistic expectation here, guys, is to get somewhere in the middle of this band. I think 40,000 is the next target we are watching for. Not saying that we stop necessarily at that level, not saying that we cannot move any higher, but when we're thinking about this, the rest of this week, it's Friday, when we think about the rest of this weekend, realistically, getting a push above 40,000 for now seems a little too premature. It definitely could happen. But for now, let's set our sights on that $40,000 price action. As we move out, let's take down our indicators here. And let's move out and look at the more macro scale. I already talked to you guys about the golden pocket, of course, at 41,000, and then the platinum pocket at 50,000. Let's take a look at fixed range volume profile. I want to use a lot of price action within these windows. You guys know that I love to look for potential gaps, but I also love to see different indicators that come up here. Let's go a little further out. I want to get this a little cleaner for you guys so that we can see it better. I'm going to go all the way to the weekly chart so we can see the candles more clearly, but also get a good look at where the key levels are. The first level you are looking at right now, guys, we've cleared this peak right here at 37.5. You do see the value area high coming in at about 40,600. So that kind of backs up what I was just saying, right down that $40,000 level. Yes, that's $600 higher, but you know, it's a range, guys. So 40,000 to 40,600 looks very interesting. The next dip before 50,000 is coming in here at $45,000 if we clear 40. I know a lot of people have talked about 42, and I'm not saying that 42 isn't significant. There's a little bit of volume peak right there, but ultimately I love looking at the exact tops of the peaks and the dips in the valleys, and to me, clearing this peak, and if we can get above this value area high, right, that 40,000, while 42 might pose some small psychological barriers, I think it's a good run up to 45K before we make the decision. Do we want to go higher? Do we want to push towards 50K or at least 47? Right there we have our next peak, or do we continue to make a push above 50,000, maybe even make a push back towards 52 right into that next valley? Let me know down below, guys, in the comments what you think, but those are levels we're looking at. 40K, I think, is the next one on your eyes that you should be looking at. 45 after that, and then a $50,000 price action to the upside. Of course, if the price does get lost, guys, right now, 37.5 key support. If that cannot hold, I think you will see maybe a downfall that kind of starts here. You start to see support back down towards 35 and so on and so forth. But with this explosive move to the upside, we do have to be prepared that there could be, as much as we're moving to the upside because of a short squeeze, you could see a place where we get a little too overextended with the bulls. They get a little too excited. They get overextended in their longs, and then we see a long squeeze back to the downside. So stay vigilant. Look for take profit levels. But for now, the bulls are continuing to win. It could get very exciting. Tomorrow we will have a live show where I'm probably going to go into more detail about altcoins. We'll also have a live show this afternoon here on Investing Bros. So stay tuned for both of those. Check out the times on the channel. With that said, guys, you guys go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.